Hey guys, and welcome back to the Coder's Legacy channel. In this video, we'll discuss a very important topic in Matplotlib, and that's called animation. Okay, the animation module inside Matplotlib, which is imported as from matplotlib.animation import funcanimation, and we'll discuss what this is very soon. Alright, so animation is actually a really big deal in Matplotlib because it enables us to do a lot of things. Okay, now obviously it allows us to create animations in Matplotlib, like it allows us to create looping animations, like of a graph being updated or a graph being drawn from scratch. So you can play animations like that. And the cool thing about them is that you can even save animations as like a video, and we'll actually discuss that in today's tutorial. Okay, so yeah. Now, one more interesting thing about the animation module is that it's not just to create and produce animations. It can also be just for, as a regular timeout call, like you want to trigger something, you want to trigger a specific function after 3 seconds. So you can use the animation module for that too. So don't think that you don't need this feature just because you don't want to create some fancy animations. It's not just about that. It's also about the functionality. Okay, it gives us a lot of extra functionality, right? So without any further ado, let's begin. I'm going to use a simple line plot for our demonstration, okay? And I'm just going to store the values for it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll create some random values over here. Okay, cool. And now we'll plot them. And yes, I noticed that I did not make our figure and axis object, which I will do right now. And there we go. Cool. And now what we need to do is show this. And now we run our code. And now let's just verify that everything's okay. Okay, good. Now let's focus on how we can plot this. So what's our next step? To use this funcanimation class. Now there are two different classes in the animation module. One of them is funcanimation and one of them is artist animation. I'm not entirely sure what artist animation is used for, but I couldn't really find any uses for it, and it's not really used that often. Funcanimation is basically, used 90% of the time, and it's pretty great, as you'll see very soon. So what we'll do here is animation is equal to funcanimation, and the first parameter here is going to be the figure in which all this animation is going to be taking place. The second parameter is a function name. I'll just leave this like that for now because we haven't defined that function. Okay, and the third parameter is the interval. The interval specifies the interval between the frames. The way the animation module works is that it creates a series of frames. Okay, so like you have maybe 10 frames in your animation, which is maybe you plotting 10 different points. Okay, so that's like a frame. Okay, so I mean those are 10 different frames. So this can specify the interval between them. If we keep something really small, like 100 milliseconds, it's going to update really fast, and the frames will zip by really fast. Or we can go with something slow, so we can see the effect gradually. Okay, so let's define this function. I'm going to call it animate. Okay, and this automatically takes a parameter. Okay, this gets passed a parameter automatically, which is called frame. Okay, or it can be called anything. I just like to call it frame. And what is frame? Let's print this out. Okay, and I'm just gonna run this. Okay, and let's run our code and observe the output over here. Okay, now notice that 0 was printed twice. Why is that? Well, it turns out that there's actually an init function, and this init function actually needs to be passed a function. And if you don't, it's basically used to initialize this animation object. Well, not really. Basically, what it needs is this, the return object from the axis.plot function. What you need to do is create a function called artist, or anything really, call it whatever, and you need to return this ln object. And if you have like multiple objects, okay, multiple objects on the same plot, you need to return all of them here. Okay, hypothetically speaking, if we had another one, you'd need to return both of them. Okay, and what we'll do is just put this over here, artists, and yeah. And if I run this code now, you'll notice that 0 only prints out once. Okay, and yeah, cool. See, 0 only prints out once now. So that's how you can fix this problem. It's a very common problem. A lot of people don't know the fix for this, so I just thought I'd mention it right now before someone gets confused. Okay, so what else can we do in the Func animation module? Okay, we haven't really done anything yet. I'm just showing you a bunch of parameters and how a few basic things work. Okay, I haven't actually done anything yet. Okay, which we will now do. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, now how about we just remove these values? Okay, cool. Let's remove those values. We don't need them. Now what I'll do here is inside this function, we're gonna update our graph. Okay, so what we'll do is ln.setData. This is a function that can be used to update line graphs, that can be used to update line plots. And what I'll do here is pass in the values of x and y, but I'm gonna append a value to these beforehand. I'm gonna append the frame over here, which is basically, the values starting from 0. Okay. And on the y, I'm gonna import the numpy module, and I'm gonna generate a random number for it. Import numpy.random, okay, and randint, and generate a number between 0 and 10. Okay, now, yeah, we're good. Cool. Now, if I run this code, let's see what happens. Okay. And I think this problem is caused because we need to add that little comma over there. Something to do with tuple unpacking. I've still had a little trouble understanding that, but it should work now. But we see nothing. But we're not getting any errors. So what's really going on? Well, let me just move around a bit and maybe we'll see our missing output. Where is it? I can't see it. There we go. There it is. But what is it doing over there? Well, where is it? What is this? What's going on? Right? The problem is that when we use the setData function, we actually need to scale our plot accordingly. We need to call fig.gca, which stands for get, G for get, C for current, A for axis, get current axis, and call relim on it. Okay, redefine the limits. And the second function we need to call, we need to call two functions. It's called autoscale view. Okay, this makes sure that we scale our viewport so that we can see the whole graph after it's updated. So let's run this code now, and now we will get our correct output. Okay, this took about 9 minutes to get to this point, but I think you guys properly understand what's going on now. You understand the different parameters, you understand how it's working, you understand how there are various problems that can occur and how we can get around them. Okay, you understand why we're using these lines and this entire nonsense over here. There's still more to discuss. Okay, because one thing you should know for now is that by default this is going to go on infinitely. Okay, it's never going to stop. In the event that you want to limit this, we can use the frames parameter. So you can pass in like 10 into this, and let's just shorten the interval a bit to like 200 or 300, and let me run this code. This will only execute 10 times. Okay, that got a bit weird. Oh, I know why. Sorry. I should explain this. By default as well, animation loops around. Okay, it loops around. Now the problem with this is that you don't want it to loop around. At least in this case, I don't. So what I'm gonna do is, this is getting pretty long. Let's just move this to the next line. Okay, and what I'll do here is turn repeat is equal to false. Okay, the reason why it's drawing over it again is because the frame goes back to 0, and then we start plotting on the 0 axis again, on the 0th x, on the first value of the x-axis, and the second value, and so on. That's what's causing the problem. So let's just disable the repeating. Okay, cool. And now you'll notice that it stops. It stops right here. 10 frames are done. It's gonna stop. It's not gonna move. Okay, but one more thing I will mention, just in case you want to do the repeat, is that you can use the repeat delay parameter. Am I messing this up? Let me just scroll here. Yeah, this is the correct parameter. So the repeat delay parameter basically introduces a bit of a delay between, the repeating. So if I just, turn this true, just so we can see the delay, you'll notice that after it finishes, okay, it's gonna wait 3 seconds before it begins redrawing. Okay, and in the event that you actually want to do this for some reason, you can just do something over here, that if the frame is equal to 9, which is our last frame, I believe, then we can just do axis.clear. Okay, so this should, clear our output. And there we go. See? 3 seconds passed, and it's going to begin again. Huh. Well, that's strange. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what axis.clear did. Maybe it did something that I'm not really aware of. Maybe we just need to recall these. I'm not entirely sure. Let's just try it. If it works, it works. If not, we'll just leave that. A lot of unexpected behavior when trying out new code. No. Oh, that's weird. But never mind that. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we should have cleared out the access for X and Y, and that could have been causing problems. Never mind though. So yeah, that's our situation. And is there anything I'm forgetting? Let me just think about it. Oh yeah, of course. How to save animation. Now actually I forgot a minor detail, and that you cannot save animations that easily in Matplotlib as a video, that is. So what I'll do is that I'll show you guys how to make animations, how to save animations as a GIF in this video, okay? And in the next one, I'll make a new video, and we'll discuss how to save animations as videos, okay? And this is because Matplotlib has a dependency, and you need to actually install that dependency. Most people don't have it by default, so we'll need to talk about that entire process before we get to it, okay? And just don't think about skipping that video, okay? Because videos are actually superior to GIFs in terms of performance when you want to show the animation for a very big graph, okay? Or something that has a lot of frames. The video is a much better option because the GIFs are only suitable for small animations, okay? Because they're very inefficient in terms of size, and they actually become really slow. Like they become slower than they're supposed to be when the animation is really big. So it really messes things up. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, watch the next video, and you'll understand how this works. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I will show you guys how to save them as GIFs. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Now, I actually went and copied this code over from my website, okay, which I'll also leave a link to in the description below. I copied this code over from there just so that we could also get to see a new graph, a new animation in action. So if I run this code, we'll get to see a very nice animation. Oh, okay. And this is one more thing I should mention, is that the save function, okay, this is how you save them, okay? You can save this as a GIF. This is the file name, okay? The save function actually kind of messes with the animation, so don't use this when you're running the code normally, okay? Otherwise, it'll mess things up. So if I run this now, we'll see the proper output. Okay, and it's looping around. We haven't really disabled it, and we're not really clearing the plot in between either. Okay, let me just explain this code a bit. So we have defined the axes over here. We've kept only 30 frames. We kept the x-axis from 0 to 30, the y-axis from 0 to 10. We kind of fixed it over here. Okay, which is also an approach you can take if you know the maximum number of values in your graph. Okay, and what we did here was iterate over, well, not iterate, we basically used the frame number to access the individual bars and then set their height, which is randomly generated. Okay, so that's just how it was done. You can use the .save function here to save it as a GIF. You should look at this statement over here. Okay, ffmpg is unavailable, which is the thing that we need, the dependency that we need for videos. Okay, I don't have it right now because as I've recently moved to a new device, so it's not available on my system. But some of you may have it, some of you may not, most of you won't. And if you have Pillow, Pillow can be used to generate the GIFs. Okay, so if by chance that the save function doesn't work for you as a GIF, you may need to install Pillow as well. And I almost forgot, I never actually showed you the animation. So here's our animation file, and you can see it playing perfectly over here. Pretty cool, right? Looks pretty nice. And you can obviously use and upload this in any external area. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this and that you learned something new today. If you want to see more content like this in the future, then please do subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. Is there something else that you want to see in the future? Let me know your thoughts, and I hope to see you guys in a later video. Bye then.